Hi, this is Davina Stringer, and I'm going to be talking about the history of accountability and how that relates to 21st century learning in our schools today. So what have we learned from the history of accountability? I think that we can all agree on at least one thing, and that is that we have so much more to learn. So of course we have not figured this out, and until we do, we also have some responsibilities to maintain. So the 1983 publication of A Nation at Risk was thought by many to be the initiating event of the modern standards movement. With then after that, No Child Left Behind, that was passed by Congress in 2001. The hope was that this would ensure accountability in education. Unfortunately, this didn't happen. The results of Nickleby were not what A Nation at Risk had called for. What we needed were high priority learning standards. Legislation maintaining that progress be measured by standardized tests has proven to be counterproductive. We've seen a narrowing of our curriculum, and opponents of Nickleby say the penalties of using these tests as the only research to evaluate student progress is damaging to schools. It's damaging to students and to the future of teaching and learning. Many feel that the curriculum in their schools has been hijacked in sort of a way where, the scope of the curriculum has been narrowed to what we feel may be on a test, and that of course is called teaching to the test, and it happens when stakes are high, and it's a trap that many have fallen into, and one that we need to seriously consider how we are going to get away from. It doesn't help that there's an entire sales industry thriving on our accountability with the products that they sell to promote student success, or promises of student success, at least on these tests. And of course we don't want our students to fail, but unfortunately many of these materials are replacing curriculum in schools. So we are frustrated, and sometimes from that frustration comes humor, like TAX, Texas Abusing Kids Systematically. It's a funny acronym. However, not so funny is why are teachers told to differentiate their instruction but standardize their tests? It's frustrating because it doesn't make any sense. Educators report this frustration. We've been very vocal about that, and we don't want to teach to the test, but sometimes they feel trapped. Who wants their reputation marred? And more than that, who wants to tell a student they didn't pass? What does that do to a student's view of their abilities in education? So the method by which schools are gauged is demeaning to schools and causes a narrowing of our curriculum, and this is something that we have got to change. Accountability does have a purpose, but it cannot be the focus. 21st century high priority learning is the greater purpose. So Bruner says that learning happens when humans are able to construct their knowledge and generate their knowledge and meaning from interactions that take place between ideas and experiences. What a far cry from standardized learning. In our district, our motto is every heart, every mind, every day. And this really does speak to a life-wide curriculum, a rich, broad 21st century curriculum that should be everybody's goal. The philosophy of our formal curriculum with our priorities on 21st century learning creates an informal curriculum that shows up in the behaviors and actions of our educators. Are we willing to take a stand to do the right thing and prepare our students with the 21st century skills that they need to have for success in this world? Are we willing to do that? Students need the 21st century skills that are nicely outlined by Adamson and Darling Hammond, such as creativity and innovation under ways of thinking. Let's get them excited about creating things. Critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making, also under ways of thinking. How are we going to solve problems? How many different ways can we solve a problem? Learning to learn under metacognition, also under ways of thinking. I'm thinking, I'm noticing, wondering, seeing, feeling, and realizing. Communication under ways of working. We communicate with our voice, our eyes, our face, our body, and all of it counts. Collaboration. Nothing is done independent of each other. We need to teach kids how to collaborate. This is a huge 21st century learning skill. Information literacy under tools for working, also ICT literacy under tools for working. Students need many frequent and often opportunities with hands-on experiences with these things in the classroom so that they are able to do this in the real world. Citizenship, local and global, living in the world. What is social justice? How can we include others, have empathy for others who are different than us, and acceptance for others who are different than us? Life and career. Who am I? What are my opportunities? What's my plan for achieving goals? What do I want to be when I grow up? Teaching them personal and social responsibility, cultural awareness, and competence. How am I going to value others and take care of my earth? The buzz? Are schools getting worse? No, I don't think that they are, but I do believe that students today are just different. They need to be able to build on their knowledge and make decisions in the face of uncertainty. And learner-centered environments must be created by the teacher to teach them how to do this, building on conceptual and cultural knowledge that students bring with them to the classroom. This prepares them for critical thinking and problem solving. So how to do right by the students? Well, many have suggested creative insubordination. What am I going to teach and how am I going to teach it? Yes, we have standards that we are required by law to teach, but how are we teaching these? Are we narrowing them to a test, to what we think is going to be on the test, or are we widening them to the scope of their 21st century skills that they need to develop? We must take the widening of curriculum toward 21st century learning. In doing so, we need to keep in mind that these are distinctive individuals. We need to create enriching environments and develop passion for learning and collaborative learning for them. Accountability to our students supersedes accountability to a test. So who's in? I hope everybody. I think that everyone can agree that this is of high priority and great importance in developing 21st century learners with the skills that they need to be successful. It's time to refocus on the whole child. Creative, emotional, social, physical, and cognitive components of a child are all things that we need to keep at the forefront of our mind when planning rich experiences for them in the classroom. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Nothing could be more true when we look at the narrowing of curriculum versus the widening of curriculum in developing 21st century skills in our students. These kids are worth it. I think we all can agree on that. Thanks for listening. Take care.